Good morning, I'm Sunetra Choudhury, political editor of the Hindustan Times, bringing you all that you need to know about COVID-19 on Thursday, the 9th of July. First up, a look at the numbers, and India has seen the highest rise of COVID-19 cases in a single day in the last 24 hours. There have been 25,724 new cases in the last 24 hours, making it the largest spike that we have seen. The total number of deaths stands at 21,136. And these numbers take the total number of infections across the country to 7.6 lakh cases, which just highlights how serious the infection and the curve of the disease has become across the country. In fact, that's the reason that the lockdown has been extended and imposed in different parts of the country. For instance, in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala, they are seeing also a largest single day spike of 301 cases when before they weren't seeing any cases at all, and taking the total up to 6,196 infections. In fact, Patna in Bihar is also seeing many cases, and that's why, just like there's a lockdown in Thiruvananthapuram, in Patna they are going to introduce a lockdown from the 10th, that's tomorrow, for 1 week. So things very, very fragile and changing across the country. Which brings us to our next story, which is how, because of the fear of infection and because COVID-19 deaths are put in PPE kits, there are instances of bodies getting swapped. One such case emerged from All India Institute of Medical Sciences, where the bodies of Kusumlata and Anjum got swapped. And the family only realized that when the family of Anjum wanted to see her face and were told that they could do so in the graveyard when she was being buried. When they finally looked at her, they found they had the wrong person. They took the body back to All India Institute of Medical Sciences, where they had swapped the name tags on the PPE kits. They found out there that their family member, Anjum, had already been cremated. The hospital then suspended the worker who they said was responsible, and the reason why this didn't come to light earlier was because Kusumlata's family had not even come to the hospital to claim her body. The family of Anjum had complained to the police but did not escalate it further, but they refused to take the ashes of Anjum in order to conduct her last rites. A similar kind of incident also happened in Thane in Maharashtra, where the bodies of a 67-year-old man and that of a 72-year-old man got mixed up. The family of the 67-year-old person was informed over the weekend that their ward had died of COVID-19. They came and they cremated him. However, at that time they found out that their family member was still alive and only died on Tuesday. On Wednesday, when they cremated him at that time, the family of the 72-year-old was also informed, and they had in fact lodged a missing persons report. And the family of the 67-year-old invited them to be there at the cremation. But the family of the 72-year-old in Maharashtra said that they were looking for some videographic evidence that their loved one had indeed died of COVID-19. And while these stories were emerging, Oxfam International has said that millions more could be dying of hunger than the pandemic. In fact, they said that 122 million people have been pushed over the edge into starvation because of the economic crisis that has emerged from the pandemic. They pointed out in places like India, millions who were barely managing have been pushed over the edge. They in fact said about India that travel restrictions had left farmers without labor and crops were rotting over here. And finally, at this time when large gatherings aren't allowed, what happens to protests that take place in sites like Jantar Mantar, which has often been called India's Hyde Park? Well, it seems that a lot of the protests that were taking place among workers, among students, they have now all moved to online sites like Zoom, like Facebook, like Instagram. And so traders, students, workers have all moved their cause online. The only thing is, are they getting enough attention? Are their causes getting enough attention? Those are the news updates for now. Keep tracking them on hindustantimes.com.